Yael, are you here? Are you available to pick up?
I am here. I'm having a bit of tech challenges, but I am here and thank you everyone for joining us. Today we have a special circle. Those of you who have been with us in the past, this is a bit different because we do not have our Black American elder with us today. We do have her granddaughter, Jamina, who will give us some details in a minute, and her daughter, Renee Maurice, who will speak afterwards. So, Jamina, over to you.
Can you hear me? My microphone is on. Okay. Um, I didn't really prepare my words. Sorry. I- those of you who have been in this circle and are familiar with Iya Tahira Abu Bakr, my grandmother, my aunt's mother, she passed away, transitioned last Saturday, March 14th. Um, it was an end and a beginning to a long journey and a beautiful life here on earth. She taught us how to transition, I think, as a family, and for all those who got to bear witness. She went into it with her eyes open and her head up, and we are just grateful for all that she has been able to share here, and everywhere else she's been on this planet. And thank you for sharing her back with us. Um, yeah, we've gained a very powerful ancestor, and so we're grateful. And I know that news, saddens people, but again, take heart because we've gained a powerful spiritual ally in whatever way she's willing to continue to connect with us. So if there is, my understanding is that we're dedicating this circle today to her memory, her living memory. And I think that there will be some links in the chat as well. Just some continued fundraising to cover the cost of the expenses for her services. There will be two memorials, one in Jackson, Mississippi, and one in St. Croix, the Virgin Islands, as she requested. So double the work, double the fun, because she had a tremendous life and a tremendous impact. So those links, she wants it live streamed. If you want to be updated about when and where to tune into the live stream, there's a Caring Bridge link that will be in the chat. You can sign up for Caring Bridge and we will share there. If you want to send funds, there is a fundraiser in the link. And most importantly, as far as the celebration goes, there is a link for sharing memories, sharing songs, tributes that we hope to be able to somehow share at these memorials. Both will be outdoors, so it'll be a little tricky to have a big screen up, but somehow, some way that will be a part of the memorial as well. So, yeah, again, thank you for having her and honoring her. And it's our honor to share her, and it's our honor to have her shared back with us in all these ways.
Thank you, Jamina and Athena. And now to Iya's closest next generation, Renee. Renee has agreed to honor us with dedicating the circle to her mom. So please, Renee.
Good afternoon. And thank you, Jamina, for your words, and thank all of you for your condolences and for your love and embrace of our mother, Nana, in all the ways we embraced her. Can I be heard okay? Okay, so my printer didn't cooperate, but I'm gonna read from my phone what I have written. To the 7 children of E.A. Tahira and to the beloved communities, villages, and indigenous circles of the world that she held in her heart. I am deeply honored to be the daughter of Iya Tahira Abubakar, beloved mother, mommy, Nana, Iya, mom, mama. Thank you for giving life to all 7 of us and for sharing your life so generously with the world. To know you was to be touched by love. To walk with you was to encounter wisdom. To be held in your presence was to be changed. It is said that the greatest treasures are not found in storehouses, but in the heart. In the golden memories created through living, loving, laughing, and journeying together. You gave these treasures not only to your 7 children, but to your many children across the world, your villages, your communities, your beloved people. You showed us what it meant to be a truth teller, a woman of integrity, a dreamer, and a healer. You taught us how to move through the world with authenticity, how to manifest what once seemed impossible, and how to draw upon nature's gifts to restore and renew life. You were our way shower, and you were a way shower to many, guiding with a consciousness that illuminated paths we are all still growing into as your children and as the extended family of your global community. We now see with greater clarity what you gave us. With time came understanding, and now we understand, understand, and overstand that you were ahead of your time, rooted in the sacred lineage of great grandma Sarah Merchant. You carried ancient wisdom within you, herbs through truth, through love. You nurtured us, body, mind, and spirit. You raised us, your 7 children and your countless spiritual children, to be truthful, to be strong, and to face life with courage. Your love was unwavering, expressed not only in tenderness, but in the strength of your honesty and the depth of your care. Your heart was pure love. You were always for the people, a natural interpreter of movements, a vessel of wisdom, a force within community, a trailblazer in your own right. You walked your path with purpose, grounded in nature, rooted in spirit, devoted to awakening others to themselves. You were and will always be Ye Man Ya, our divine mother, protecting our divine masculine and feminine creations, holding us in the eternal womb of your love. To your 7 children and to your villages across this earth, you remain our eternal teacher, our fierce protector, a lover of life, of nature, of children, and of humanity. Beloved mother, mommy, Nana, Iye, mom, mama, you lifted others higher simply by being who you were. We honor you, we carry you, we love you eternally. I will call to you her name and I ask you to respond in kind. Iye Tahira.
Iye Tahira.
A mother, a teacher, a protector, and a lover of nature, a lover of life, lover of children, lifting them high. Iye Tahira.
Iye Tahira.
A storyteller, a movement maker, a wisdom keeper, and a lover of elders, a lover of family, a lover of people, a lover of life. Iye Tahira.
Iye Tahira.
A mother, a teacher, protector, and a lover of nature, a lover of life, a lover of children, lifting them high. Iye Tahira.
Iye Tahira.
Living ancestor, walking light. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ashe, Asheo.
Thank you so much, Renee. That was so beautiful. And thank you to everyone who is with us to help us co-create this circle and honor Iya Tahira. I know that in some tradition, we have learned from our wisdom keepers that in some tradition, the name is not to be spoken. And so we respect those who may not mention Iya Tahira's name. In some tradition, it helps the soul to transition that we do mention her name. So we are bringing all of these different traditions and respecting the differences, just like the womb, as we say, can hold contradictions and expand even if it's uncomfortable, and contain the different truths, which is how we do these circles. They are inspired by the womb, and they are according to the guidelines of indigenous traditional talking circles as they were identified and gathered and handed down to us by our elder here, the late Rita Blumenstein. Because what we find is that when women do these circles, lead these circles, then it creates like an energetic womb. And the womb is a place where all of us, regardless of gender or size or color, we're all once in. So we are inviting you all to co-create it with us. And the way we do it is according to the guidelines that I'm going to read, because the first guideline is that the host needs to read the guidelines, even if everyone knows them by heart. Because just like if we have a dinner that we're inviting people to, even if everyone knows where our dishes are, we still set the table. And so, of course, the guidelines aren't coming up, so I'll try and memorize them. And if I'm missing anything, please help me, those who have been with us for a long time. So we ask for everyone to listen. This is a talking circle in the sense that the circle does the talking. We are doing the listening. We ask to listen from the ear at the heart of your heart. If you look at the word heart, it has an ear in the middle. We ask to open that ear. We ask to listen with the innocence of a child hearing something for the first time, like you heard for the first time about pyramids or platypus or a dragon. Before deciding if it's true or not, let the story come to you. This is a potluck of offerings. You do not have to push away something that doesn't nourish you, for it might nourish someone else. So just take in whatever is right for you and let go of what doesn't. We ask to respect yourself, your other selves here in the circle and beyond. Respect time and attention that are limited because we are human. We ask to be free and let others be free of judgment, expectations, arguing, or planning responses. Please come as you are and listen without trying to advise or teach or advertise or even comfort someone unless they specifically ask for it. For here we allow smiles, we allow the tears. We would like to allow ourselves to see beyond titles and stigmas. When we speak, we ask that we speak from the heart and the womb, which is the only other place in human body that a heart can beat. We ask to speak not because you want to be heard or I want to be heard, but because the circle wants to speak through you. And even when we speak, we are listening. Our active thing is to listen to the words, whether they come from my mouth or your mouth or our other self. We ask to let the words ripen, not try to speak before, or if you need to gather thoughts, then maybe pass and we'll get back to you afterwards. Because we try and again respect time and attention and be lean of expression. So we rely on the understanding that the circle creates. And you do not have to speak, for even if you do not speak, you will be heard. Often in these circles, you can hear someone say something that you just thought. It's because the circle is talking, the circle is listening. We ask everyone, ourselves, our other selves, to speak the truth as each of us knows it for themselves. Only speak of what we know to be true through our own lived experience, not something that someone told us that they once heard or learned, but something that we actually experienced. And we respect the fact that two people, even in the same situation, can have very different truths that are just as valid. Just like the lion and the deer in the same chase can have very different truths of what it was like, and both are just as valid. And again, we ask to expand and allow that containing of differences and of contradictions. Just like the pregnancy teaches us that even if we're heavy or having a bit of a heartburn or all kinds of uncomfortable things, that is the way that we can actually contain an other self. When you share in the rooms, in the second part of this gathering, it will not be recorded. And we ask that each room that has one of our wisdom keepers as a facilitator, or sometimes two, to keep the confidentiality. Whatever happens in the circle stays in the circle. Whatever happens in the room stays in the room. And even if you meet someone afterwards and you want to keep a conversation going, ask their permission. It may not be suitable for what happens here, in this time and in this place may not be something that can happen elsewhere. And now I'm asking if this is okay with everybody. If it isn't, then unmute yourself or excuse yourself. Or if you have something to add, please unmute now. We will give a few seconds for that because we need to continue with consensus. Okay, and with that, thank you everyone for joining our journey. And Kumu Sebra, if you will please take us with the opening blessing.
Can you hear me? All right. Greetings to each and every one of you. Thank you, Camilla and Renee, for sharing with us such beautiful thoughts of Ia. We have so much aloha for her. I welcome you with this chant speaks of sharing aloha, sharing love for one another. Ano ai ko ka ko mea ho'oki pala e ai. Ahana mea hano hano. Ke ho'o hiva hiva ia ne makola e ai. E hui pu ka vai vai. O ko ka ko mau kupuna la e ai. Yahi pu ia ka ko I ka lokahi. Kana lui mia ka ko mai ka hiki mai la e ai. Me ke aloha no ka ko a pau. Me ke aloha no ka ko a pau. So like a wave that is crashing on the shore, like the memory of our kupuna, our ancestors who have set the path for us, we share aloha for each and every one of you around the world. Mahalo. Thank you for being here today. Aloha.
Mahalo, Zebra. You're beautiful. And with that, it is said here in the Arctic traditions in Alaska that when women come together in true sisterhood, connect to the womb inside us and around us, and then take that energy ceremonially, collectively outside of ourselves, a sacred container can be formed for something truly new to be possibly birthed into the world. And this is what we are trying to do here in these circles with the help of all of you. So for the first thing, except for these amazing keepers of sisterhood that you are all seeing in front of you, the first thing we do afterwards is to connect to the womb, and Diana is helping us do that, please, with her meditation. Diana, please take us in.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Jemina. Thank you, all of who is here. I want to start by offering a short prayer in my language, Hebrew, to Ia's soul. Leilui Nishmat, Ia Tahira Abu Bakr, Bat Gassi Frank. To the ascension of the soul of Ia Tahira Abu Bakr, daughter of Gassi and Frank. Inviting us to take a moment to close our eyes and to find the light, the flame that's shining inside of each of us. And to place both palms on the heart. And if you have a womb in your physical body, to place one palm on your womb. If your womb has been surgically removed, you still have an energetic womb that's pulsing in you. And if you do not have a womb in this lifetime in your body, You have come from one. So that's a womb that I invite you to remember and honor, the womb of your mother. Today we're looking at the place in between what's not yet, what's not longer existing and what isn't yet formed. And in the womb, this is the birth canal. The birth canal is the place between two worlds. When we are no longer in the spirit world, fully immersed in the womb, one with all life. We're not yet out in the world, in the hustle and bustle of humanity. We are in between. So taking a moment to be with what is that place in your life in this moment, right now. What are you in between of? What are you leaving behind and what are you towards what are you moving in this moment of birth canal? And being in the birth canal is uncomfortable. You're pushed out. You're no longer where you're familiar. You don't know where you're going. It's not comfortable. How can we surrender to that place? That place that our beloved elder Iya Tahira has experienced in a few weeks, no longer being part of her daily life, familiar in Saint Croix, not yet an ancestor, but in between, honoring that moment in between, that moment in time that lasted weeks for you, Iya, beloved elder of ours. Honoring that moment for each of our lives, for anywhere in our lives where we are in between what we left behind and what we are advancing towards. Let's taste for a moment the taste of surrender, of being in the birth canal. When we are in the birth canal, we don't push. Our mother pushes us out and we surrender to the journey. Surrendering to this moment, to what's available to us from the spirit world and from our own depths. Let's take a deep breath in and exhale deeply and begin to return with our eyes closed to this moment, to our physical body in this room where we sit, to being part of this circle that's stretched around our Mother's Earth, connecting spirit and matter, what was and what is to become, surrendering to this moment. And when we feel fully here, allowing our palms to go where they wish, they can stay where they are or can lay in your lap or on your sides. And gently opening our eyes to this new moment right now. Oh,
Thank you, Diana. Thank you for the birth canal and the surrendering and the pregnancy that is along in between and in between pregnancies, in between the cycles. There's a lot of in between that the womb teaches us. And so I know, Muna, you need to leave soon. So maybe we can have you and what's coming through you for the in-between, for the things that were shared so beautifully. Diana, Renee, Jamina.
Hi everyone, good evening. Hi, ¿cómo están? Is she waving because you're leaving?
No,
Or just
I'm seeing you.
Hi. So good evening everyone, and thank you for your beautiful words and blessings and honoring Iya. Um and I feel like it's, you know, anything that has been prepared has to be in attention and listening to her presence with us now in a way, and allowing the passage to be peaceful, and the balance between the movement into the next journey, and, you know, like knowing what has been done in this life, and knowing her, our love to her, the you know, like the way of our helping her move through. So this is an honoring of Iya and everything that she represents with her, you know, wild love. So remembering very strongly her presence and beauty, and really praying that she's in a peaceful passage. So thank you for this. I feel like as much as we would say, it would not be enough to really honor her presence and her movement. And so just offering one more, you know, one more blessing, one more love, one more from the heart, just sending it off to her as air under her wings. You know, she did, I imagine she would have grown wings by now, you know. So thank for you. And so just taking a moment of passing from speaking to this and to all things present, for me at least during this equinox, and the balances that it brings with it, you know, like the spring equinox has always been a very unique and special time for me, because for us here it's also Mother's Day for the Arabic community. So 21st of March has always been, you know, like the day that we all celebrate mother and motherhood. And for me, celebrating motherhood at this time is also, you know, like I think it's obvious for everyone that's here. Mother is the mother who birthed us through her womb, but also Mother Earth and all her beings. And deep prayer at this time, especially, that, you know, Mother, with all her love, with all her capacity to, you know, hold us as we are, with all our stupidity these days, you know, like so much stupidity going on this land, particularly here. In the Levant, I want to call it. I feel like calling it the Holy Land is no longer right, because it just like manifests the fight over it. So just maybe the Levant is more appropriate for it in these days. So along with all, you know, the place where I know and I sense her capacity to keep containing and containing, and like I hope that something would tip, just like we move from darkness to more light on the northern hemisphere, at least there would be a movement into the honoring of Mother Earth, with her strength of life, with her beauty of nature, with the flowering and the movement of birds upon the sky. And our skies here, you know, like they're full of missiles and bombs, and also beautiful birds moving from one place to the other. So it feels like, you know, nature is still full vibrant. And birds still migrate naively through the skies, you know, like willing to take this journey because it is what's natural. So I'm really holding this in my heart the possibility to continue seeing the beauty despite everything that's going on. And I know that this is not the only place on earth that madness is really prevailing lately. And along with that, I want to remind us to tap into the light. Tap into the light in any way that feels possible. For me, in these days, it has been possible through listening to my dreams deeply, listening to the inner worlds in a way, and also watching the very, very gentle signs of life still going on. So I wonder if it's okay to take one moment and to close the eyes. I'll give me a sign if it's okay to do that. Would it be? Yeah? Yeah. So I do want to invite us for 1 minute, please, everyone. Just like come with me in a little prayer or meditation. Just close the eyes and take one deep breath or 2 deep breaths. And find that central alignment within yourself. Allow the breath to take you in. And it's like going down with an elevator from the mind to the heart and just residing in the heart. And allowing it to become a receptor of light. And knowing of everything that is going on, aware of all the noise and all the, I want to say, masculine anger and boys throwing bombs at each other or doing whatever they're doing in shape of old men, but really knowing that this is happening, continue to like come closer to the self and search for this very pure light that is there present and tap into it. Just tap into this light. I feel it calling us very strongly to strengthen it through tapping into it and bringing it down to earth. So remember that we are a big circle together here now. I see 64 people, so 64 of us tapping into this light together. And maybe connecting our hearts in an astral way, all around, like many different places on this globe. And breathing in the light and bringing it to earth. Trusting it, believing in its presence. Take 1 minute to wish for yourself the remembrance of this light as you walk through your springtime or autumn if you're in the southern hemisphere. So really deep wish to remember the light and be in width with it. May we remember to tap into the light and live it and allow it to fill us. And once you feel it, and only once you feel it, if you don't just keep doing that, and if you do feel it right now, leaning on the whole group, then let's hold together this real belief at this moment of the capacity to keep the light here, to bring it so that people can actually connect to what is good, what is useful, what is wholesome, what is beneficial. Hold that image of humanity tapping into the light. With the help of the ancestors that have passed. And with the help of the children that still hold the naiveness, and with the heart, our hearts as adults. See it as a real possibility for humans, for animals, for plants, for all beings on this earth. Let's breathe that for 1 minute. And when you feel ready, please open your eyes. Keeping it as we open the eyes gently, gently. Thank you. May we remember. May we remember. I'm wondering if Yael is here, if I should continue talking or not. It looks like she's not here, so I can just go on. Yeah.
Invite the next speaker, Muna,
Should I invite the next speaker?
please.
Okay. Wow, how do I do that? Val, would you be willing to speak?
Yeah, I'll jump in there. Thank you, Muna. That was beautiful, beautiful meditation. And thank you, Renee and Jamina. Your blessing and your honoring of our elder sister who has passed is really beautiful. And I think she will be keeping the fires burning on the other side and keeping us all correct in what we do and what we say. So thank you. And I think it's quite appropriate that our subject for tonight is about the in-between, because I think when we lose someone precious and special, as our elder sister was, I think it brings questions to our hearts. It brings questions to who we are, where we are, and what this is all about. Why are we here? What is this all about? This journey we have as humans on this planet. And I think it's very easy to hold on to memories and live in the memories of what has been, and perhaps worry about what has to come. And I think I deal a lot with the animal world, who are very, very present. And I think that was one of the things that our elder sister taught us, is about being present and actually living in the moment, because there is nothing else. We're here now. We are here in this place, and what we do with where we're at is what's important. And I think if we get lost in the depression of what's been, or the worry of what's been, or the sadness of what's been, we don't live in the present moment. But equally, if we're always looking to the future and what might come, we miss where we're actually at right this very second. And the beauty of this world, although there are traumas happening in various places, the essence of what Mother Earth offers us is beautiful. And at this point in time, with Equinox, where everything should be in balance, it's very easy to judge where it's not in balance and look at the problems we're having in the world. But again, nature teaches us that if we sit long enough and still enough and actually listen and look, we can see that everything is put right. Mother Nature will put everything right in time. So I look to this place of teaching that we've been given, and I look to the beautiful families of our elder sister who are here, and that's such a gift to see these genes being passed on. And I look to my own family and hope that I've passed on as much wisdom to my children and my grandchildren, because I think that's where the future lies, and where the wisdom lies is passing on the information and the knowledge and the kindness and the joy, just finding joy in our lives in the present moment. So yeah, I don't have very much more to say on that, but I think there's been lots of beautiful words shared, and I honour what's been passed before us. So thank you. And I pass on to Eva.
Thank you, Vav. Thank you all for this beautiful, beautiful container. I woke up with so much grief today. I think not that I have it today and not every day, but today feel like very, very potent. And when I take out soul cards, and my card was also grief, and I said, oh, okay, it continues. And I really want to read that soul message because it gives solace to my heart, but then my heart got stuck in the physical, in my physical body. My body got at the level of my heart, and I'm blessed to have a body worker as a husband. So he worked on me and I was able to rest. But I noticed that how much we're carrying in grief, in the in-between, and in the uncertainty, this uncertainty of what tomorrow will bring and what this next 5 minutes will bring. And reading this grief, the message was, I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. And we've been losing so much lately. We've been losing so much life, so much certainty, and so much identity. I feel like who I thought I was or who I am becoming. And in the in-between, there is this moment of unknowing, uncertainty, and deep, deep darkness. And I feel unless we accept this darkness, we cannot turn on the light. And right now we are in deep, deep darkness. And this message of that nothing is gone forever. It's not, this is what's happening right here, right now, with so much grief, so much sadness, so much loss that our human mind cannot comprehend even the loss that we're living. So we try to avoid it, we try to deny it, we try to push aside the pain so that we don't feel the fullness of it, but it's there. And I always say pain is necessary for growth, but suffering is optional. Don't need to suffer in the process because we are the light. That place Muna took us to is inside of us. It's this surrendering to us being that light that we're seeking so badly outside. We're seeking for a solution, but the solution is inside. And even these kids or this fight of testosterone worldwide, these guys were in a womb of a woman. And what turned them into that? And so for me, I sit actually today, and that's part of my grief of where are we, where is our responsibilities as mothers, as women, as partners? Where's our responsibility? Because this is happening there to other women, not because we weren't part of it. We are part of it. I feel grief because I feel I am responsible for what's happening right now in the world. In what way, shape, or form did I participate by being silenced, by turning the eye, by making fun of what's happening, by being ironic, by being, like, how is it that we as women, as those that carry the next generation of peace, the next generation of human consciousness, how are we doing it differently? Because this is not the first time that this is happening. This happened so many times in the past. If we remember, then we remember our past experience where humanity arrived to the same moment where we are right now, where humanity arrived and was losing. We've lost it already 6 times. Are we going to lose it this time as well? By blaming someone else doing something there and not taking responsibility for how is it that we are separating ourselves from the others? How are we separating ourselves and putting the separation between what is good and what is bad? The point of balance is within. The point of balance is how are we holding ourselves while transitioning, and the beauty of the journey that Yetahira has took us with. We've been witnessing her in this process for so many months, but she was there with her strength. And finding the strength within us right now, finding the strength within us to ignite that fire inside of us. So each one of us is carrying the responsibility of the change that we're longing for. This change is possible. Peace is possible, but it's not going to come from somewhere outside of us. It's not going to come from somebody else that's going to hand it to us. It's going to come because we united as a tribe. We united as women. We united as men. We united in our humanity, not by dehumanizing another tribe or another group or another gender, but because we understand that we're all one. And what's happening outside is happening inside. And the violence that we're seeing outside is a reflection of the violence that we haven't accepted and transmuted inside. And let us really be that change that we want to see in the world. Let us transmute this grief. But we cannot transmute it by ignoring it and pushing it aside, but by surrendering to it and accepting it so that we can birth like the birth canal to which Diana took us through. We are birthing. We're birthing a new humanity. And what this humanity will look like will depend upon us, upon the first breath that we're going to take when we come out of this birth canal, and not by fighting and shouting in the birth canal. Otherwise, we'll get stuck. And right now, we're stuck in the birth canal. So with this, I share a prayer of love, more than peace, a prayer of love to all of us to be surrounded and protected and held in the loving essence of who we truly are. Being held in our loving essence. Tap into that, your loving essence. So that this loving essence can be birthed in this birth canal and bring forth a new humanity that is loving, kind, compassionate, and where we belong. I am because you are, and we belong. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. And yes, I think we are already becoming being and coming into this circle. We have women, we have at least one woman that's Iranian that I know is here. Thank you for being with us. We have women from the US, we have Israelis, Palestinians, each and every one of you who dare do that, meet our other selves not as enemies, but as reflections of our own selves and go deeper as we do in this circle. So thank you to each and every one of you. And I don't know who spoke and who hasn't. Kumu Sabra, I'm feeling called to maybe invite you because every time I send you one of those invites, you immediately talk about peace and tap into the peace in all of this. And so I'm wondering what's coming through you.
Thank you. Am I muted? Can you hear me? All right, my hallelujah. Oh, Eva, that was beautiful sharing. And Renee and Jamina and Vav. Oh, such beautiful sharing. As I sit here thinking, I do not support the war. I do not support killing one another. We must sit down and share as we are here now. We must share our concerns and our aloha for each other. We must share the beauty of the land, the beauty of the earth, the beauty of our families, the beauty of our children. I love, Jamina, that we have your baby here with us. I love to hear that baby chattering behind you because I know that it is a life. It is a life that is so important that continues. And I pray every day for peace on earth among all people because war is not the answer. I I I I feel so blessed to live on an island where we have a lot of peace, we have a lot of happiness, we have a lot of fun. I know we have some people who are struggling with the cost of living, the cost of housing, and all of these things, but we share so much through music and feast and and hula. Actually, a lot of fun around these basic things. And I wish peace for the world. I wish happiness for each and every one of you, your families, and your communities all around the world. I pray for peace, happiness, prosperity for each and every one of you. Aloha nui. I return to you, Yale.
Aloha nui. Thank you so much. Mahalo, Kumu Sabra. And Elder Anita, I'm wondering what's coming through you for us. Thank you so much for making it. I know you're between meetings. And
it was lovely. A woman I've known for about 25 years, and she was like 8, has always dreamed of putting together a show. And so today she launched it. And it's part theater, it's part interaction. I'm bringing that energy with me. That, dreams do come true. It can take decades sometimes, but they do come true. And so what's coming through for me in this place in between, I remember when I was younger, by younger, under 14, 15, when people would say things like, just come from love, or just, and I was a good kid. I did what I was supposed to. I got good grades and stuff, but it was like, how do you come from that if somebody's stepping on your neck? How do you come from that when somebody takes away your food in your house? How do you come from that when somebody's killed your father? And then in that space, there's a few things that for me, when I've been in that space, that have helped. One is that if I'm just stuck in the pain and not dismissing it at all, but just in that, my choice in that in-between place is not very broad. But if I entered that space already with a vision, or I take that space in between to create a vision, then I repattern and change the story. And that's indeed what happened with me with the murder of my father and with the abuse that occurred to me when I was young. I want to tell a story because it was coming through. Last weekend, I was at a gathering, and a woman, Iranian, who wrote this book on revolutionary love. It's a movement. And she, very educated, Harvard Divinity School, Yale Law School. But she got up, and there was none of that. It was just pouring out. But the story she told, I tried to really succinctly, because it stayed in my heart, like incredible. So she went to Minneapolis, and she joined the protesters, and they're asking the spiritual leaders to stand in front. And so she did, and it got real tense in terms of ICE and all the people. And so one of the senior elders, spiritual leaders, said to this woman, "You need to pray. It's time to pray." And so she's looking at all this, and and she says inside she's shaking. However, she knows she has to pray. So she starts praying. She closes her eyes, and she hears noise, but she just keeps praying and speaking as loud as she can in that. And then when she opened her eyes, a baton was like 4 inches from her head. And she just took a deep breath, and she closed her eyes again and began praying. Now, the next day, she goes and gets flowers. And at the ice building, there are 12 icemen standing outside. They're standing there with their and stuff. And she went and she put a flower in front of each of the 12. When she got to the first one, and she looked, oh my gosh, it was the man who had the baton 4 inches from her face. And so she's like, put the flower down, send love, best you can, even if it's shaking. And then she went to each one of them. When she got to the 12th one, the first one said, "Hey, get over here." And she thought, oh, you know, it's hard to dismiss a baton in your face or a foot on your neck. She walks back down and she looks at him and says, "I'm going to look him in the eye." And he sticks out his hand and says, "Thank you." And then she leaves. And she said, "You know, that man could put a baton onto my face another day. But there's that moment where that humanity can come through. And who knows how many moments it takes for each of us, or how little moments it takes for each of us." But let me say out in this story, because one of the things she brought to us is that the citizens of Minneapolis have been put up for the Nobel Peace Prize. Because if you look at them and the network, I mean, it's like trees. I often think about aspen trees. They're doing all these things, you know, like some of my indigenous friends won't go out of the house. They're homeschooling, and neighbors are bringing them food in the back door. Somebody has to go to the doctor. They wait, and then they sneak them in the back seat flat, and then they drive to the, I mean, it's incredible. But all of it's happening, you know, with no orchestration. And it's that kind of vision, a vision that I have of peace, love. And now I say those things that as a young girl, I was like, oh, shoot, that's easy for you to say. But I realize that we create a lot of our story. That's real, what's happening, the pain. But we can create something that shifts that peace and love. And so during that time of in between, it's not a no time. Like I'm hearing all of you, it's a repatterning time. It's a choosing time. It doesn't necessarily mean you are going to repattern. You can choose to go back. But in that time of repatterning, I'm just joyful for it in the times of my life. And know that joy comes with responsibility. And I love that woman for telling that story, because it was a big one. So I've been starting to talk to people that when ice come, that we should get some flowers. Who knows? And I'll continue to send light to his name, Trump's soul. It's a good way to start the day. So love to you all.
Love to you, Anita. Thank you for that moment and for reminding us that we may not be able to choose the button in front of our faces, but we can choose how to respond or how to be creative instead of reactive. And it does ripple sometimes. So thank you for that. And I believe it's time for Jamina. Am I right? Or did we miss anyone else? Jamina, I'm wondering what's coming to you about in between.
I'm reading a book called The Radiant Sutras. It's about it's a Sanskrit text that's been translated into some of the most beautiful poetry I've ever read as far as the conversation between spirit and consciousness. Yes, baby. It's okay. And then a lot of it is about breath and meditation and practices. And something that the opening practices emphasize is focusing on the pause between each breath, both between the inhale and the exhale, but also between each breath. And so when you said that we would be talking about liminality and in between, I thought about the big picture and how, life changes put us in the in between. But I realized this morning that we're always experiencing the in between with each breath. So, I don't think I need to talk about the big, scary versions of liminality. Just a reminder that we're always have an opportunity to be with each breath. That's all I have.
Thank you so much. Yes, pausing is not something that we're trained to do in the Western world. It's so much go, 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 set your goals and get there before someone else gets it. And then you die because you can't have it. And that is so much of the imbalanced masculine consciousness of, sperm-like consciousness. And we are reminded of the feminine, that we all have both in us. And we all start from the feminine and are able, if we choose to or not, that's up to us, but we have the opportunity to pause and listen and see what emerges. Maybe something that never existed before can start to exist in us and beyond. And with that, I think we will try and do that with all of you in the breakout rooms. So we will now go into breakout rooms, and please stay with our guidelines and share in the way that you witnessed and experienced actually our wisdom keepers do, because the listening is the main thing, and you've all enabled this beautiful weaving so far. And see you after the breakout rooms, and we'll have silent offerings afterwards if you would care to share in the chat, and then we'll close. So have a
Yeah,
good
Ellie.
breakout room.
Yeah, Ellie, Diana did
Yeah,
Diana did not speak, I think.
Diana, do you have something you want to offer before we go into the breakout rooms?
Damuna, thank you. I think that we agreed that if there is no time, then I will pass, and I'm happy to pass, so that we have time for the breakout room. Thank you, Muna. You're muted, Yael.
Okay, thank you both. Yeah, I think we'll go into the breakout rooms. Thank you so much. And those who are with Diana will get to hear some of her wisdom. Enjoy. Laura, we need to stop the recording and the YouTube, please, and go into the breakout rooms. And it tells me that the host only can stop the YouTube.